Hi everyone, I'm Adam from Trade with Precision and welcome to this week's Inside the Chart. So I'm going to be having a look here at, first of all, the dollar index. We do currently have a short-term uptrend. We haven't really gone anywhere for the last few days, and I'm looking to see a break of the lows. Either, in other words, are we now likely seeing a leg up before we break through this support and then breaking and continuing down? So that is more likely to be a possible weekly rejection here, and we are still at the edges of this range, and therefore I'm looking to see if that dollar is going to weaken. So a break of the low or a break of the high of this weekly candle. Just having a look here, that's on the dollar index. If we have a look here at euro dollar as well, you can see we broke outside of the range. We're now testing the top of the range, so I'm looking to see if we see a break to the upside this coming week. That'll likely give us some very clear direction with regards to the US dollar. Then let's have a look at I beg your pardon. So then let's have a look at cable here. So GBP also looking relatively bullish. Sorry, not sure what's happening there with the account. So relatively bullish GBP here, also expecting that to break a little bit higher here. Quick look at Aussie dollar, US dollar, not showing as much clear direction with it. And Kiwi dollar, US dollar looking a little bit weaker compared to the remaining pairs. If we have a quick look here at dollar yen, we are possibly still within a bit of an uptrend here. But what I've done here is marked this area here to see if we do get a break of the low of that. So again, watching both euro dollar, dollar CAD, and it'll also be the same here, dollar yen as well as dollar Swissy, just looking to see if we ultimately get a break below these lows. That'll be the first kind of clue that we're going to get a weakening dollar. Quite interesting to note that Moodys downgraded the US over at the start of the weekend, so looking to see how that does impact the dollar. But for now, not revealing much. It's just treading water for the time being, and so I want to see how that ultimately plays out. If we just have a quick look at gold as well. So gold here, I'm keeping an eye on this. If we look at it from a monthly perspective, it has just got a bit of an inside candle here with wicks on either side, showing a bit of indecision, but it is definitely battling with this level of potential resistance. A little bit overextended away from the moving averages, so I'm looking to see if we do get a correction down towards, let's just say 3,000 is a very sensible area for gold to correct to. From a weekly perspective, you can see that strong resistance over there, and it is now in the moving averages. So it does have the potential here to attempt to go back up to the highs, but this also has that potential, as I said, to have a deeper correction. And so it's a battle between what is happening on the weekly and what is happening on the monthly. It's a good opportunity here it's a relatively healthy trend in every respect, but it's a good opportunity here for gold to let off some of that buying pressure on a higher time frame and therefore be able to continue higher after it has let off some of that buying pressure. Moving on and having a look here at crude oil. So if we have a look at it from a monthly perspective, high time frame, you can see we've definitely clearly broken through some strong support over here. We're coming back into that area and we're testing that area, which we've broken through. We're testing it now for resistance. So again, this is another one where paying attention to that weekly candle makes the most sense. If we see a break of the low here before we get a break of the high, it is much more likely we will see oil continue back down towards that $55 level of support to test it there. Now, if we have a look at the global markets, the Dow, we're so bullish. There's no doubt about it. We've zoomed back up above this 50-period moving average. Now, it's interesting for me. I think, this is what's known as a V-shaped recovery. We broke down through this bull market here. We exited it then, and then we didn't quite settle into a bear market or any kind of a clear trend. Then we worked our way back up above that 50 period, which means we're now not necessarily negative territory. So what I was looking to see is, did we get a repeat of what we had in the past year, where there's an attempt to get back up over that 50 period, only to find ourselves dropping back down below it? We're going to have to see if that's ultimately the case, but for now, that market definitely looking quite bullish. And from a daily perspective, we can see price breaking above, testing support, the moving averages reordering themselves in the market, attempting to move higher. So really, this week is going to be seeing how that market is likely or potentially likely to continue to the upside if the steady continues its trend, or if we're likely to see a bit of a reversal like we did at the start of the last bear market. And so similarly here, we can see with the S&P, it's likely to pull back into the moving averages down towards a level of support. So for now, that daily is very, very bullish. The weekly is back up above that 50-period moving average. And even from a monthly perspective, this is the S&P, we're seeing a very strong rejection of those lows. So we're seeing a lot more technically bullish signs currently. And so the question is going to be, is it going to be able to maintain that? So this week, I'll be looking for a pullback, looking for some buying opportunities as price approaches the moving averages, and expect to see if we do finish this week higher. The Nasdaq as well is going to be exactly the same. We can see the market here preparing to come back to the moving averages down towards a level of support. And so I'm going to be looking for a bullish candle to form here. Should we just continue to drop down lower, then it's likely that we're seeing something similar to what has happened going back here to 2022, where the market attempted to stay above the level but then fell down back below it. But looking at where it is now, it just flew right past that level with no difficulties whatsoever, and therefore it's just that little bit more bullish than bearish. Having a quick look at the FTSE here starting to slow down a little bit above that, but also looking quite strong from a weekly perspective, and then finally finishing with the DAX here creating fresh highs, also pulling back, also attempting to break above that. So just to wrap up, the daily chart's looking incredibly bullish. I'd like to see if they're going to continue this week. They are back above the 50 period on that weekly. The question is, can they sustain it? So exercising some caution. There's still some increased volatility, obviously, during this period where there's so much uncertainty coming out of the US. Thank you very much. Have a great week.